Hello, it's Ray at Drop of Golden Tarot, and I was watching Peekaboorose and her discussion on the Three of Swords and thought I would chime in. Three of Swords is a card that's kind of haunted me. It stalked me for years, and I found a couple of decks that kind of finally helped me make peace with it. So I have not dived into numerology. I don't read by numbers. I do read by their traditional RWS system, but I do think of the swords as an air suit, more about the mind, intelligence, rather than emotional issues. And they can go hand in hand, but you know. So this is my Aquarian deck. It's more of a traditional Three of Swords. This is probably the most traditional RWS deck that I own. I'm not big on the RWS images, so this is my first deck that I ever had, and it's kind of beat up, but that is that traditional three swords plunged into the heart symbology. But then I go to my Weaver Tarot, and I don't know if I'm in the middle of the frame or not. I hope so. And I hope that that's picking up that image. Sometimes these are hard to see on camera. But the Three of Swords, here there is the bird. It is, two of the swords are plunged, but they're at the bottom. It's not bloody, it's not dripping. But mostly, with the way that the bird still almost looks like they're in flight and they're climbing, it just, in my mind, makes me think of a willing sacrifice. That there was a thought process. If I do this now, if I sacrifice this now, it's so that I have something else later. So to me, there's a rationality, a decision that happened in this card, because this bird still looks like it has action to it. So looks more like it was a decision to raise itself up and allow itself to be impaled. But the deck that really helped me the most with this card is the Goliath Tarot. And I just love this image. Let me even bring it closer for you. So we have the heart, and it's been put in a glass container. It always reminds me of the flower, the rose in Beauty and the Beast, whenever I see the glass over something like this. But it's in the glass container, and you know, it was trying to be protected. And I do see this. I see the idea that we can try to use intelligence and logic and being methodical or scientific, or trying to explain things as a way to protect ourselves. And so this heart has been put in this glass container with the spikes around it, and still somehow the swords broke through the glass and plunged into the heart. But the thing that really helps me with this card is, if you can see down here at the very bottom, all of these little flowers that are blooming up. And to me, it seems like we do these things logically, But in the end, and people will act the way they act. They'll say the words that they want to say. They'll behave in the way that they want to behave. And we can let it affect us emotionally. We can let those actions and those words and those betrayals break our heart. Or we can take those things and make something new of them in our lives. We can take those flowers and we can make something new grow. Ooh, bump in the camera there, sorry. We can make something new grow. And so I started thinking of the Three of Swords differently with this card, of making something new grow out of whatever has happened. And then I got the Dark Mansions deck. And here the swords are behind the locket. And in this card, I don't think of these Three of Swords as a betrayal anymore. I think of this as still some grief and still some sorrow. But I think of it as a way of fond remembrances, letting your mind remember the sweet things, even if there's some bitterness in them. I think of the parent that grieves for a child. I think of those who grieve for people that they've lost, for maybe even our own childhood sometimes, for the innocence that gets taken away. And the fact that although those things are heartbreaking, and although they are hard, and there are times that it feels like you just want to rip your heart out of your chest so that you don't feel those pains anymore, that not thinking about them, not thinking about your childhood, and not thinking about the people that you've lost, that you loved so much, would be even more painful. And the fact that those memories reside in my mind, and the fact that I can color those, and that over time they become so precious that the pain of them starts to recede, while the memory and the joy the memory brings starts to advance. And that's what I see here. And this is one of the cards that really has helped me with the Three of Swords, and it's stalking me and remembering that we all have painful things, and sometimes those are painful emotions, but most of our emotions actually come from our head. They come from our thoughts. They come from the things that we think about and how we perceive things, and the fact that we can pass them and we can use them to either have good memories or to get better in our lives and make joy. And yeah, so I want to thank Julie at Peekaboorose for asking us to respond and do a little VR to the Three of Swords. I know she also did hers to the Ten of Swords, but I just wanted to concentrate on threes, since that is where my heart lays, and the card that stalks me, and the one that I look for and see what it looks like in the decks before I purchase. This has been Ray at Drop of Golden Tarot.